and thank you for listening to Life Support on Radio Free Brooklyn. I'm your host, Bryant Denton. Tonight I'm joined by a mostly stand-up performer, a comedian. She also does stuff on the computer, her words, not mine. What stuff on the computer? Funny Instagram stories, pop culture opinions, Air One smoothie reviews, and a web series called Amazing Animals. She's the host of the weekly open mic Funny Games at the Elysian Theater in Los Angeles, as well as one of the hosts of Haters Club, a monthly show at the Lyric Hyperion. I'm joined tonight by Kate O'Connor. Kate, hello.
Hello, hello.
How did you like that? That was something new I did with the visualization in the hospital, playing the music too. Was that how was it? Did you enjoy that? I'm still, yeah, this is new for me.
I think it's really nice. They're learning how to save a life. What could be more important than that? That's something good that a comedian should look at. This is what we should be doing.
You know, I'm not I actually I've done this. I used to work at a hospital at a med school when I used to live in Vermont as it's called a standardized patient. Kramer, there's an episode of Seinfeld where he's a standardized patient. I lived that though. So this I guess this is always on my mind and I just found a way to bring it up. But you're right, this is important work. And that's what we always told ourselves every single day when we worked there.
Yeah, you have
But
to teach these doctors, what to do.
the med students were mostly cool, but some were intolerable, which you might know a little bit with your recent injury. How have people been treating you? You broke your arm, is what? Yeah.
I broke my arm last week. Literally, it's a week ago, almost to the hour, I broke my elbow. And I went to urgent care because I knew something was wrong with my arm. And it took about 5 hours in urgent care to finally hear the words, "Your arm is fractured." My doctor was actually German, so it sounded like, "Your arm is fractured." And then he tried to basically run out of the room, and I had to be like, "Wait, wait, what does this mean for me? What's going to happen to me?" And he kind of laughed and he was like, "Nurse is coming in. Nurse is going to deal with you, and then you're going to see an orthopedic doctor." He wanted basically nothing to do with me. And it was almost as if I was bothering him with my fractured elbow. He had more important things to do, I guess.
Yeah. Um, yeah, that's just how it goes, I guess. Some people end up in those roles that's like, why did you want to take care of other people? Like, are you sure?
They don't want to take care of other people. I think that they have a God complex, and I think some doctors dislike people very much and they have two choices, serial killer or doctor, and some of them like decide to be doctor instead of serial killer. I think they kind of feel nothing at all. They like knowing everything about the human body and they like kind of being in control of our bodies.
I like a little bit of a mix. Like I always liked Hannibal Lecter. I always thought he was just fantastic.
You got good taste.
Yeah, wow. He talk about inspiration, really, really,
I
truly.
love Anthony Hopkins is one of my favorite people. I love
Did
Anthony
you,
Hopkins.
he's great. He posts these really inspirational, sometimes cryptic things on Instagram. Have you seen these?
I am a humongous follower of his Instagram. It's incredible.
They're just they're epic. The videos are epic.
He's an amazing guy.
Did you watch the one with Mads Mikkelsen at all? That
He made
Hannibal.
an Instagram video with Mads Mikkelsen.
Oh no, no, Mads Mikkelsen was Hannibal Lecter in the Netflix.
Oh, I did not.
Oh, he's cool. He's good.
I
I
heard it was
I
decent.
Yeah, it was good. It's graphic because it's more like there's a lot of it's not even graphic, but he's making the food and that's like there's a whole stylized part of the show where he's like cooking and it's like, is that human?
Yes. The answer is yes.
Yeah. Would you ever entertain eating human flesh or
No, absolutely not. I barely like steak. I'm kind of
oh
grossed out by meat except for chicken. I like chicken and I like bacon. I've been kind of trying to give up meat most of my life because if anyone were to ask me to kill an animal, even if like if it was a situation where if I kill this animal, like 30 children will prevent 30 children from starving, I would
Yeah.
cry and probably not be able to do it. I love animals so much, but I do eat meat because life is hard and sometimes you just get hungry and there's meat at the store. It's a hard thing to give up meat.
So you wouldn't hang out with Army Hammer, is what you're
No, no, no.
okay. Because you're in California, so I just, you might run into
I
him.
I'd hang out with him, but I wouldn't, I wouldn't take a plate from him. No, I wouldn't.
So you're in LA, right?
I'm in Los Angeles. Yes, I am. I've been here for it'll be 4 years in August, coming up on 4 years, I guess. Wow. Wow. Yeah.
Have you like bounced around in there, or have you been mostly in like the same area? I don't how like I know in New York people are always moving because your apartment gets bought and the rent goes up 2.5 times as much. How is it in LA?
We have lived in two different places. The first place we lived was in East Hollywood on Kingsley Drive, and Kingsley Drive seems to be like the area where everyone kind of lands when they first move to LA. East Hollywood is like very affordable and there's a lot of places available. That's because the neighborhood is psycho. The parking situation is brutal. It's really hard to find a place to park your car and it just like makes you so upset and ruins your life basically.
How'd you end up in LA? I mean, talk me through. I know you've hopped around a little bit, and yeah, I know you're. What do you define yourself as a comedian? Is that what you tell people, or what do you say when people, you know how it is. You're out meeting people and you host a show. What do you say to them?
It depends on whether I want to explain comedian to someone or not. If someone's completely outside of the community and it seems like they're going to ask me 1,000 questions about it, I will say, like, I work at a bar, or I used to work at a bakery, and I used to love to say I'm a baker because I would rather talk about baking. I'll say that I'm a comedian if someone isn't going to ask me about it. I really don't want to talk about it. It's probably the worst part of my life. I don't want to be a comedian, but I kind of have to be. I'm sort of like sickly obsessed with it. I think it's maybe the only thing I can do well, but it's really hard, and it's a dark calling. It's a dark calling,
Yes, it
and the
is.
people, my God, something I always say is comedians are the worst people on earth. It's true. Everyone's kind of a bottomless pit of need. The thing about comedians is that they're very funny. That's the one nice thing. But other than that, pure evil.
Just like unmet needs is that's how you're interpreting us. Yeah.
Everyone needs an ungodly amount of attention. And then it sort of attracts people who, if, comedy is kind of like a sport where it's like if you're feeling good and if you're in good condition, you're being funny.
Yeah.
But if something's thrown off, maybe you're not being funny. If someone doesn't feel funny or if they're not like feeling good about their comedy, they're even more obnoxious because they're like trying to grasp
Yeah.
the ungraspable.
It's kind of like it can feel like some comedians are like addicts in a way,
Totally.
and doing well is their medicine. And then when
Yes.
when they're not doing well, it's like, holy fuck, that person is like like fucking watch out. Like
Yes.
call 911. Like call 911 is sometimes when someone bombs, like, oh my God, are they gonna be
Crazy.
okay? Are they gonna be okay?
No, they're
And
not.
they're not, because they weren't okay to begin with. I don't know. It is a dark calling, and I know you're a little on the nerdy side, so I can say this reference to you and you'll understand what I'm talking about. For me, I'm a warlock. I'm a warlock.
Mhm.
And the darkness isn't new, and being able to like harness the darkness is part of the performance that is me in a
It's
way.
dark-sided. It's dark-sided 100%. It's dark magic. It's blood magic.
When I tell, I have jokes they are dark, and it's not oh, I said a bad word. I was in California last month for the Netflix is a Joke Festival. In LA, they had this sort of venue, was through the festival. So they had like Stranger Things golf, and they had a Big Mouth Monster. What else? They had a bunch of other attractions, and they also had, a performance stage. When I got there, they were handing out Pop Tarts. They had a
Oh no.
unfrosted, they had an
No.
unfrosted sort of, it was a food truck. It was a food truck that looked like a toaster. It was stylized as a toaster. And they had this poor man in character as like a person from the 50s. And he was black, and for whatever reason that made me uncomfortable that he
Yeah.
was in this role. I don't know what or why I felt that way. It just felt wrong.
Uh-huh.
And it just felt wrong for whatever reason. And we were like, "Can we get a Pop Tart, please?" And he's like, "Well, we're at the Netflix is a Joke Festival. I'll need one joke, please." And it's like, the first thing that comes to my mind is Jerry Seinfeld fucking a 17-year-old. Like that's just there. That's my on the spot joke. And it's like, but that's too much for some people. And that's the
Well,
darkness,
have you
as
ever
you
heard of the
said.
term comedy damage?
No, no.
There's a documentary, and it's by one of the writers for, I believe, David Letterman. He made a documentary about it's called Bathtubs Over Broadway. But he was talking about, as a writer, he's like, I have been hanging out with comedians and writing comedy for so long that it takes so much to actually make me laugh, because the act of making someone laugh is to surprise or shock them, and when you are a comedian, you spend a lot of time around comedians. We're always sort of like bouncing our material off of each other. And comedy is like our language. So we have like a high tolerance built up, and we like to shock each other. That's why you'll hear comedians say the most twisted and dark things to each other. And the worst things will make me laugh the hardest, because it's just like we like to we like to go to the dark side. We like that. It's
Right,
fun for us.
right. No, that's interesting. I'm gonna have to, what's it called?
We have comedy damage. It's comedy
Comic.
damage. That part
Yeah,
of our brains is just, it's been overloaded.
it's been nuked. It's been destroyed. Yeah.
I
Wow.
um I grew up in Littleton, Colorado, and the high school next to mine was Columbine High School, and I was a freshman when Columbine happened, and our school went into lockdown. And I have a couple jokes about Columbine, and I'm like trying to make them work. Sometimes they will work, and sometimes the whole room is just like
Mm-hmm.
shuts them down. And I'm like, come on, let me joke about this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's tough. It's, for whatever reason, the shocked reaction, it's hitting a different pleasure center than laughter when I'm on stage. The sort of like
Hmm.
genuine shock. But you have to be careful because it's people are delicate. Some people are.
Yeah, you don't want to like, you got to find the in. It's never funny to me. Mean-spirited stuff is never funny to me, but if you can find a way to laugh, at a hopeless situation, that's the art of it.
Yeah. So when did you know? When did you decide, okay, I have this innate within, or did you feel that way, like performing or
This is going to
yeah.
be the funniest thing you've ever heard. I
Okay.
was always sort of like a class clown type, goof off, and I was kind of like spent my 20s sort of drinking and hopping from job to job. I've worked in restaurants. I love working in restaurants. And I sort of was like, well, what am I going to do with my life? And this is so funny. I literally read Tina Fey's book, Bossy Pants, and I was like, okay, I'm moving to Chicago. Literally, I think me and 5,000 other people did the same thing, because the improv boom like exploded when Tina Fey released that book. Everyone went to
Oh,
Chicago to do improv.
oh, I didn't know. When was that?
I moved to Chicago in 2014, and IO is one of the big improv schools there. And when I moved there, IO moved out of like a tiny theater into like a humongous, shiny new theater to accommodate all the students.
Okay. So did you got plugged in through taking classes, or yeah, how'd it
Took
go?
classes and just started meeting everybody. And I love comedians. I call them the worst people on earth, which they are, but I'm a very bad person as well. So I like being around them. So like truly the community is what like hooked me. I was like, these are the people I want to be around.
Yeah.
They're
It can
also the
be
people that I can't stand. It's very much like a family thing.
chosen family. Yeah. Well, that's cool. So yeah, what's I don't know. I guess I don't know a lot of about the Chicago scene. Who are the players there, and who'd you get to
Chicago
meet?
is really big for improv and also stand up, but the improv and the stand up communities do not really mix. They kind of stay separate. And I found my way in through improv because I read Tina Fey's book and I was like, oh, Second City is like a huge institution there. And Second City is a way that you can make money. So people are like, I want to be paid to do comedy. What should you do? You should try and work for Second City. So that's sort of like the goal.
Okay.
And also like SNL. Chicago has such a rich comedy history that SNL auditions are held there. And so everyone's like, okay, I have two options, Second City or SNL. It's so funny because it kind of boils down to that
Mm.
in
Mm.
everybody's mind. And so you just kind of get to know everybody and you learn to put up shows, you get a lot of stage time, you learn how to work with a bunch of people, and you just sort of like figure out what type of comedy you want to do. And it's just like really fun. Chicago's awesome because it has a great public transportation system. Midwesterners are down to earth and nice. It's affordable because the winter is absolutely horrific. And you just have a blast. Everyone stays up until 5 in the morning drinking. It's kind of like playtime.
Till 5 a.m.
Oh yeah, there's some bars that don't close until like 4.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Yeah. That's late.
Oh yeah.
That's some late nights in Chicago. But aren't there gunshots? Are people getting shot to death in Chicago? Is that
No, or if they are, it didn't happen around me. I've had the worst things happen to me in LA. I've had my car crashed into, I've had all my wheels off my car stolen in the middle of the night, and a man threw oranges at me at the grocery store.
wait, what kind of orange? Were they cuties or were they
Big
navel?
orange.
Oh,
A
they're big
man
ones.
dressed all in black with an American flag mask threw oranges at me at the Vons in Hollywood and told me that's what you get for taking what doesn't belong to you. And
And
he
what
was
did you
implying that
take?
I was stealing avocados, or he was high on drugs or mentally ill and thought I was he thought I was stealing. And in his mind, he had to hit me with an orange.
And he didn't work there.
No, he was just a guy. And then that made me insanely mad. And I picked up the orange he threw at me and I chased him around the store with it. Not like running, but like the Terminator. I kind of just like walked around the store and followed him with the orange. And I was like, why did you
Like
throw this at me? It
like
was
it
during COVID.
follows. It
Yes,
follows.
like it follows. Yes. And I knew he wanted me to have I think what he wanted was for me to be like, hey, this guy is he wanted me to throw the orange at him so that he could be like, I don't know why this woman's attacking
Food
me.
fight.
It
Food
was a
fight.
crazy situation. He was
That's
crazy and I matched his crazy, and we both were two crazy people in the grocery store that night.
that sounds beautiful in a way.
It was.
Scary at first, but not in physical danger. I mean, did you feel that you're in physical danger
I
at
did think he
first?
probably had a gun, but I was so mad I didn't care. He hit me in the back of the arm. He did a coward's throw. He threw it while my
Oh,
back was turned.
what the? Oh, that's pathetic. That's
Yeah,
actually, wow, I'm really sorry that happened to you.
that's okay. I acted really crazy back to him, and my boyfriend was like, that was pretty insane. He was like, I was going to step in if anything went down, but I just kind of let you do your thing.
It sounds like you handled it.
I, I handled it. Yeah, I handled it.
Did you talk about that on stage?
I'm trying to say it in a funny and quick way. It's a long story.
How do you sum that up without, yeah. Well, there is that new song that is anyone gonna match my freak? And you could use that as like a jumping off point.
We matched each other's freak that night in a humongous way. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. So that might be a starting point.
that's funny, Bryant.
So I'm gonna play a clip of yours. Give me a little intro about your show that you have.
I am obsessed with animal videos. I got really, really obsessed with bird videos specifically, because all these people were posting really cute videos of their pet birds. And I was like, God, I want a bird so badly. But I knew in my heart that I couldn't take care of a bird. And I just love funny animal clips. And my friend Thomas, who's also a performer who lives in Chicago, he agreed to make a little mini series with me where we would try and meet people who had exotic animals. And we just put an ad out on Craigslist and we kind of sourced from our community and we found hedgehog breeders and we found a bearded dragon. Our friend had a horse and there's like a little farm that rehabilitates animals. Like they had a camel there that used to be he used to give camel rides. His name was Joseph. And then we just kind of like went and filmed it and interviewed it and did a little web series. And I have started filming a new one in LA, but we're still editing the footage right now.
Going to share a clip from Amazing Animals Around Chicago by Kate O'Connor. You're listening to Life Support on Radio Free Brooklyn.
Can I sing a song for you?
Sure.
Okay. Creepy crawly, what goes bump in the night? I'm Kate O'Connor. Hi, I'm Kate. Oh my god.
His penis is so large that everyone was uncomfortable to pick him up for a while.
Because of his dick?
I think so.
So you met a lot of amazing animals.
I met so many amazing animals, and I also met the people that love those animals because I'm mostly obsessed with the relationship between a person and their animal.
Mm-hmm.
Because that relationship, there's no language really being exchanged. It's all just sort of like you just kind of like live near each other and you just learn who each other is and love develops. It's so beautiful. I think the relationship between people and animals is absolutely beautiful.
No, I don't have any pets, but I was bird pilled. I became bird pilled probably in like 2017. You know, I had a dog, had some dogs growing up, some cats. I never was like super like I'm not gonna say I'm not an animal person, but I don't there's the dog craze that we've been that's not even a craze anymore. I think that's just sort of been that's the new status. It's not new. It's just like dogs there's dog restaurants for God's sake. It's gotten to a next level of sort of integration of in our lives, I believe. But I wasn't really I've never had doggy fever. I never had doggy fever, but I became very interested in birds just by seeing some of the videos of them online and like did a really deep dive like with just parrots. I was fascinated with parrots mostly and just how they can like talk and like what you just brought up like is that language, are they talking, and it can feel like humans are talking to birds and sometimes they are, although it is simulated sort of language. It's hard to describe, but I wonder if that's part of what happened to you.
It's so fascinating. It's so crazy to hear birds speaking human words. I think they're the only animal that can like literally say like paper, you know?
Yeah,
Pieces. It's so compelling.
I like when they cough when they're like "Ugh." It's like, the fuck's going on? Like, why, like, the sound, they're doing sound effects. They're literally
Yeah.
Foley artists. They become Foley artists. And it's like, it's like, this is life, I guess. Like, people, it's just insane.
There's a parrot named Einstein who does coffee slurps because he listens to his dad drink coffee in the morning. He's like, it's so funny.
Yeah. You know what? I think I'm gonna, I need to show you a video because I don't know if you've seen this.
And crows. I think some crows.
Crows can. Yeah, the African gray, um, they're just like smart, and they live for so long. So
Yeah.
that was my thing. I was like, oh, I want to get a bird, but it's like, where am I gonna have a bird in this shitty apartment? Like, I can't trap it in a cage. Also, this animal will be with me for the rest of my life,
Yeah, and they
potentially.
go insane when they don't know where you are. Like if they get attached to you and you leave the room, they start screaming at the top of their lungs.
Yeah. Okay. Hold that. I'm sharing my screen again. Um, have you seen this? Do you know this song?
Yes, I've seen this video. It's incredible.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
I mean, that's like the funniest thing I could ever think of. Imagine like just hearing your birds sing that song in your house.
It's
That is
just
so
insane.
funny.
Yeah. So,
This is
dog.
this is the kind of comedy damage thing I'm talking about, Bryant. Where it's like I was watching these bird videos and they were making me laugh. There's a video of two green parrots and they're singing La Cucaracha, and this
Hmm.
one parrot goes La Cucaracha and like tilts his head back, and it was like the biggest laugh I had had in so long. And I was like, this is you find what you like, and you're like, finally, something's making me laugh.
This is the good stuff. This
This
is
is
the
the good
good
stuff.
stuff. Been waiting for this my entire life. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm not ready to commit. So yeah, when are you gonna get a bird? Or
So maybe when I'm an old lady, I would love to have a crow. I think it would be so badass to have a crow that talks.
I'm just I'm
So
just
incredible.
imagining a crow on your shoulder.
I mean, yeah, my cat,
Yeah.
I would love to have a crow, but I think to me, birds are kind of like old lady animals. I think of
Mm.
like, rich old ladies whose husbands have died, who like,
You're
you
never
know,
leaving the house. There's no reason to
yeah, they're
leave.
with their bird all the time.
Everything's at home, and two people are talking to each other in a way that maybe nothing's actually being processed.
It's kind of a widower pet, maybe.
Yeah, so you've got some time,
Maybe army
hopefully.
wives.
Yeah. That's dark. Jesus. So, okay. Trying to think about. I'm just
I,
thinking. I'm just
I'll
thinking
tell
about
you
a.
this.
I'm thinking about a man who's died at war, and she just has a bird to
You
keep
get
her
the bird.
company. Yeah. So I just got
Yeah.
stuck. I just got stuck with that for a second.
I'll tell you this. If you were to ask me what my favorite animal was a couple of months ago, I would tell you that I don't know. I don't really have a favorite. But me and my boyfriend went to Texas 2 months ago, and we went to this place called Moody Gardens, and it's three pyramids, and one is like an aquarium, one's an open jungle, and one's like an IMAX theater. And I saw feeding time at the penguin enclosure, and the penguins were being so cute. They were standing with the keepers and waiting for their fish, and they looked like little men. And in that moment, I was like, penguins are my favorite animal. I had kind of a spiritual moment where I just couldn't believe how cute they were. And I was
Yeah.
so enamored with them. And my goal is to meet a penguin. I'd love to meet a penguin.
Okay. Yeah, so tell me about the next season of your show. You've already shot, and I really enjoyed the first season. I know you. What did you see? I watched episodes a while back, but who did you meet?
But the hedgehog breeders, they were really nice, very interesting people. They love
There
hedgehogs.
lizards? Weren't there lizards?
Yeah, there's a bearded dragon. There's a horse named Isabel, my friend Liz, and we went to that farm. The name of the farm is escaping me, but the farm was really fun because they were just like rehabilitating animals who needed a home. So that was like a really cute situation. And then we had a birthday party for my cats at the end.
Right, right. Yeah. So you wrote, yeah, was that song planned? Your little tune at the beginning of the trailer?
Yeah, in the first season I sing a song to every single animal or about every single animal. Which I kind of forgot that I did that filming the new stuff and I did not sing, and I need to kind of bring the singing back. I like to make up little songs, you know. I think a lot of people like to do that. But it's sort of like an unconscious tick of mine where I'll start to make up a little song, not even realizing that I'm doing it. And my
Oh,
friend Thomas was like, "This is really funny."
that's the improv. That's the improv
That's my
training.
improv. Yeah, that's my improv training coming out.
Just a little jingle here and there that
A
you can
little
come up with.
jingle set to
Oh.
sort of a popular pop chorus, you know?
Oh, okay. Oh, that is a good skill. That's a dying skill. I might even I don't encounter a lot of that
Hey, go to
anymore.
Chicago.
A lot of like just spontaneous renditions of what's happening. Just people
Improv
spitting things
of
out.
all kinds.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I guess I'm not going to improv. I'm no yeah. I don't know. I haven't done much improv.
Oh,
I've
it's god awful. It is god awful. When improv is good, it's the funniest comedy I've ever seen, hands down, no arguments, no doubt about it. And when it's bad, it's some of the worst and lowest moments of my life have been watching a bad improv show. And there's kind of no in between. It's either
yeah.
like transcendent or it's like absolute misery. It's very, very, very difficult, and I'm not very
Hmm.
good at
For me, with stand up, you you might want to kill yourself.
it.
But with improv, that would just implicate more death. And I don't know if I'm I don't know if I'm ready for that yet. So I'll just keep it inside me for now.
When you bomb at stand up, you can just be like, oh, I just didn't have a good set. And the only person that needs to feel bad is me. When you bomb at improv, you have made others look bad. And it makes you want to crawl into a dark hole and go to medical school so that you can, make up for the sin of ruining so many people's night.
Right. Pay it forward.
Yeah.
By a complete career change, a life
But
change.
something I've noticed in the comedy community from being in it for so long is these little trends will kind of bloom and die. Like I feel like the improv trend was really blooming when I entered Chicago, and now it's kind of like in third place. And in LA, I'm not sure if this is everywhere, but in LA, clowning is like the dominant sort of technique.
Uh-huh.
And a lot of
Yeah.
people do clowning. And then for me, it's like improv, stand up, sketch, and clowning. There's kind of like the big four. It's like the tier list.
Okay. So like
But all of the factions hate each other pretty much. That's the other fun part. Because I told you, comedians are the worst people on earth.
so can you tell me the clowning thing? Because I had never ever heard that in my life until I moved to New York and people were telling me, yeah, I'm clowning. I'm like, aren't we all clowning around? Isn't that just implied? Aren't we all clowns? But you know
Well,
more.
let me give you my heavily biased opinion. And once people hear me say this, they can come for me and I will probably deserve it. I have a big chip on my shoulder about clowning. I find it self-indulgent. I find it masturbatory. From my point of view, you are
Can you
trying.
define it what it is though? Like why is that separate from just being a comedian? Like yeah.
I think Okay, so I've never taken a clown class. I've only experienced this secondhand from people who have. But apparently, clown is a character, and you have a clown inside of you, and you have to find out how to bring the clown out. And it's a very physical thing. I think it's a bit similar to mime. It's a lot of physicality, and the clown is sort of a fool, but also the clown is also in command, where it's
Oh,
like you're supposed to make the audience sort of a little bit afraid of you because anything can happen and you can do anything. There's there's some clown stuff I've seen that I really have loved that I think is so funny, but I think clown is sort of the salt on that person's comedic skill. Some people
okay.
just do this clown stuff and they're like, clown is everything. And it's like, it can help you if you're funny. But also, I'm talking so poorly about clown right now. I will say that when people are learning something for the first time, a lot of it is self-indulgent, because you're sort of like trying to get comfortable and find your voice.
Mm-hmm.
But as a fully realized comedian who is being entertaining on stage, you want to please your audience. You're trying to put on a show for an audience, and that involves you being present, and that involves you paying attention to how they're reacting to you. And the ultimate goal is to entertain them. And I've
Not
seen a lot of
scare them.
clowns. The clown thing, there's like some theories to it where it's like they should be scared. They should not know what to expect. They should be sort of like a little bit anxious or whatever. Just be funny. I just have a chip on my shoulder about clown.
Mm,
I got a little chip
yeah.
on my shoulder about it.
Did something happen with a clown when you're when you were young? I'm just kidding. Um,
I mean, it's just kind of like political maneuvering in Los Angeles. I feel like clown stuff is kind of favored sometimes to a degree where it's like, yeah, let's have a more balanced showcase of different disciplines here. Not everything has to be clown.
it's hard for me to like think of it as a discipline because I never even knew that it was. Like I never, you know, I guess from, the outside perspective, it's like, okay, there's comedy and there's improv, there's stand up and there's improv. And then I'm talking to this guy, it's like jester's privilege. I'm like, what the hell are you talking? What the hell are you talking about? And it's like, I thought that's just a style. That's just like, I don't know. Yeah.
I will
The
say,
jester, the fool. Yeah, I don't know.
my friend Thomas, who helped direct and write Amazing Animals, is also a clown. And he
Mm-hmm.
trained in London, and he went to like a clown school in London. And I find Thomas incredibly hilarious. But I think Thomas is a very funny person and a very skilled comedian. And I think the clown technique was the salt on him as a performer, and it elevated his performance. And it wasn't about him being a clown, it's about him being funny. And clown allows him to express his talent.
Right. Right. Rather than, yeah, I got you.
I just think people get too absorbed in like, this is what I am, and this technique is everything.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like you can be funny. Some people are funny and maybe some people have other skills.
The
But
ultimate goal is to be,
now we're being negative.
I know, I know. I told you I'm very biased and this information is probably not good. Um, I think the ultimate goal is to be funny, and sometimes people get their vision clouded and they're like, my ultimate goal is to like get ingrained in this community, in this small little community of people doing it. And it's like that's part of it, but let's remember that we're trying to all put on good shows for audiences.
For everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, like just one last thing on it. Yeah, there's you don't want to scare everyone. You don't you can be scary for a moment, but like perpetually, like I don't know. I don't like getting in people's personal space in a way that's like just like and like getting stuff on them, like pouring. Like I saw this guy like got ketchup everywhere. It's like what the hell are you doing? Like don't put ketchup like no one wants ketchup on them. Put
Just
ketchup
kind
on
of
the floor, but Yeah,
It's just kind of
why?
shocking. It's not funny. Are you being shocking or are you being funny? Are you being provocative or are you being funny?
Yeah, leave the ketchup out. Leave the ketchup off stage. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. But let's. All right, we're gonna move on before we get canceled by the clowns. For the
Yeah,
clowns
yeah,
that
please stop me. And
I
disclaimer, I'm not speaking from any seat of authority. I've never even taken one clown class. This is me just kind of like boldly being an asshole,
it's
as is my right.
but we all have a sort of deep not all of us, but there is a deep-seated fear of clowns. Like I know on the dating apps, you've been off them. You haven't had to endure this probably anytime recently. But there is a slot where it says, "Oh, what's your most irrational fear?" And it's too there's a little bit of truth in this. I if it did happen, I would be terrified, but something about being humiliated by a clown in a public bathroom who like a very like that's my irrational fear. And no one liked that response on the
Mm.
date. Yeah, I never heard so shit on the clown. I don't It's fine. Don't worry. Don't worry. I know we were being a little critical earlier, but I feel like that's okay. I feel like that's okay. I feel like it's okay to be critical. And you've been able to at least entertain people with your critiques, right? Your little video.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh yeah, my
So
opinions, my opinions.
your opinion, yeah, your Kate's opinion. That did your Instagram get deleted? Did you get to read
Yes. I
what
made
happened?
a comment. I made a comment on Chris Pratt's Instagram page. I used to love Chris Pratt because I really liked Parks and Rec and I thought he was really funny on Parks and Rec. And I was like, Chris Pratt is awesome. I can't wait to see his career blossom. And then he like got divorced from Anna Faris and became really Christian and possibly joined a church that was like homophobic. And I was just like, what the hell's happening to this guy? And then he made this very viral post that was like a happy birthday post to his new wife, who was the Schwarzenegger woman.
Mm-hmm.
And the text of it was really insane. And it sort of implied that he liked his kid with her better than his kid with Anna Faris because his kid with Anna Faris has health issues. And it was so crazy. And I just left a comment, what the hell happened to you, man? That's all I wrote. And
Yeah.
that comment got like 12,000 likes and it had a huge discourse under it. And I had trolls coming to my page and like commenting on my pictures and being like, you're ugly, you bitch, and stuff like that. I don't know if I can swear on the radio show. They said ugly things to me and I was like, oh my God, I'm getting trolled because I wrote, what the hell happened to you, man? And
So serious.
then
Yeah.
these imposters were messaging me and they were like, hi, I'm Chris Pratt's assistant. This is his secret Instagram. He really wants to talk to you. Let's go to WhatsApp so we can talk. Where are you from? Like, how old are you? Basically trying to get information out of me so they could try and like maybe break into my bank account or something. And I was teasing these scammers and I was like, I can't wait to talk to Chris Pratt, but I have to do it tonight at 8 p.m. because my boss is watching. My boss is very jealous that Chris Pratt wants to talk to me. And I was like I was kind of trolling them back. And then I was
Yeah.
posting screenshots of me trolling my scammers. And then all my friends were laughing. It was really popular. Everyone's like, this is so funny. And then one of the scammers was like, was a private conversation. Delete your Instagram story at once. And I was like, fuck you. You're like a scammer. You're trying to like get my bank information. This is hilarious. And then the next time I logged into my Instagram, it was like, your account has been shut down due to community violations, hate speech, xenophobic, racist. And then you can't really contact anyone on Instagram. I tried to contact them and like I took a picture of myself where they're like, if you need help, write this code on a piece of paper and take a picture of it so we know that it's you. And I like tried to do that, but I could never recover my account. So be
Wow.
careful. I see some comedians sometimes teasing those scammers. Be careful because
The
they,
scammers will come back. They'll
they
strike
will come
back.
for you. They will get your
Oh,
Instagram shut down.
wow. I've done that. I've been in message chains with someone trying to scam me, and
It's fun to tease
it
them.
it, it is kind of fun, but damn, I didn't know they damn they come back with a vengeance.
They
Okay.
got me.
So what was it like starting from zero? Oh
It
God.
was fine. It was fine. Instagram's stupid. It was
Yeah,
kind
I
of a
know.
bummer. I was a little bit bummed out. You know, I had been on there for a while and I was like trying to remember everybody that I had been friends with, but it bounced back.
Yeah.
My life would probably
Yeah.
be better if I didn't even have the damn app, but
Probably. But then we wouldn't have been talking right now because that's how I found out about you is with
see,
your beautiful reviews, which I was so confused the first video I saw of yours because I didn't know what the hell Air One was. So I was just like, what the hell is who is she? And what the hell is she talking about? But I'm gonna play what you sent me. I'm gonna play a little clip of your reviews. Kate's opinions.
I watched Rogue One for the first time 2 nights ago. My glasses are crazy crooked. Crazy crooked. I couldn't believe how much I loved Rogue One. Everybody's name is like Bleep, Bloop, Momo, K, KS 107.5. No shame in reading the Wikipedia plot summary if you're having trouble understanding what's happening in a movie. I don't really know much about acting. I've never taken an acting class. I've done some comedy. But the acting in this movie is so fucking good. Forrest Whitaker is playing, I don't remember what his character's name is, Saw Gerrera. I just love Rogue One so much. Incredible actors play the parts, and they're bringing so much to their roles. I'm just saying cliche thing after cliche thing. It's just so nice to watch a good movie. The Timothy Chalamet argument, and I know some people are going to come for me for this, I don't enjoy watching that boy. No one has to earn anything anymore. No one's doing it for the love of theater. These are all the thoughts I'm having watching Rogue One.
You don't like Timothy Chalamet? Wait,
No.
sorry, and I gotta pause the review. You don't like Timothy Chalamet? What's going on there? What happened?
Wonka is bad, and he
Oh
just kind of
yeah,
plays himself.
you're going on about the chocolates. So when did you start deciding to, have you always been making those sort of reviews for, yeah, talk me through it.
I used to have a talk show in COVID called the California Boring. It was called the Chicago Boring Show, and then it turned into the California Boring Show. And I called it the Boring Show because I was like, I'm going to talk about stuff I want to talk about, which might be an old video game, or like niche topics. Like, oh, I just watched a Robert Altman movie, and I want to talk about that. So I called the show Boring so that people could be like, okay, this is going to be. Oh, I got to plug my computer in 1 second.
Oh,
But also I called it the boring show because I read this book about hawks when you have a hunting hawk. And the
with like the
superstition
glove.
is yeah, like a falcon. A falcon,
Yeah.
yeah, falconry. The superstition is when you name your hawk, you give it a soft, gentle name like Rosemary. Because if you name it something like Killer, then the superstition is that that hawk will not be a good hunter. But a hawk named like Rosemary or Margaret will be like a killer.
Okay.
Because if you name it something tough, you kind of curse. It's too much pressure. You curse the hawk.
Okay. Okay.
So I
Oh, so
named it the
that.
California Boring Show to not curse it.
Okay. 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 I like that. I like that.
But yeah, I sent you that Andy Rooney video because I'm extremely inspired by Andy Rooney and sort of like opinion pieces, like
Mm-hmm.
op-eds kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it can be. It's a weird space to step into, and as a performer, yeah, I don't know if there's this guy Chris Stuckman. Do you know who that is?
Oh,
He does YouTube reviews. And now he's producing his own movie, and he's sort of stopped with his critical reviews. He just sort of does like he only reviews things that he likes, and there's a big discourse around him. If when he did a review, he would say, "You've been now Stuckmanized," and people really liked that.
you gotta
And
send me that. That sounds great.
there's less videos by Stuckman because he doesn't want to criticize everything, but he made some really good reviews and they were fun. But I think the pressure of being a creator in this space as a reviewer, it just can be intimidating, and all of a sudden, oh, here's this negative opinion from, have they earned the, all that kind of stuff. But I don't know. I feel like we all have our opinions, and as long as we're not looking to destroy somebody, which, comedians sometimes, destruction comes with, our game, but
As
I don't know. Yeah.
as someone who went to art school and experienced critique sort of in class, critique can be very helpful and you can say it in a nice way. You can say something like, "Oh, I would have liked it if you would have done this," or "I was expecting to see this," and kind of like maybe offer sort of like helpful things to
Hmm.
say. But I think, yeah, when you are an artist and you're creating art, it never feels good to be like, I didn't like what that person made, because it's so hard to create. And even if someone made something that has parts that aren't good, you're proud of them for expressing themselves, and they probably learned from the parts that aren't so good. So you don't want to discourage someone from making art because there's parts of it you don't like. But there's a balance there. There's a balance. Critique has a place.
Hmm. Yeah. So we did a little, well, you had the critique last time we met. I was just merely observing your experience. We played Baldur's Gate 3,
Uh-huh.
a game that you had a lot of opinions on. I have our playthrough, but I did just kind of want to, it's been a week since you, well, no, it's been even longer. And you've gone through a traumatic experience. Wondered if maybe, your feelings have changed on Baldur's Gate 3, or do you think maybe if you hadn't spent those, 100 or so hours playing that, maybe you wouldn't even injured yourself last week? Like, are you having that sort of existential crisis about the game, or just where are you at?
I feel exactly the same about Baldur's Gate. They fumbled the ball with that game, in my opinion. Act 3 is very tedious. The game is too damn long. The rent is too damn high. The game is too damn long. The game is too damn long. And many players would say this. Now I sound like Trump. Many players are saying this. They are, though. I'm on the Reddit threads. I think that their writing suffered. I think they needed a little bit more help writing. All of the characters, all of my companions were telling me about themselves and telling me what they wanted, but there wasn't a lot of like showing. The characters were like not really like alive to me. They were like, I'm this person and I come from here, and here we do things a certain way. And then you're like, okay, well, we're in Baldur's Gate, so we do things a different way here. And they're like, no, I'm gonna stay the way that I am. And then everyone has like a really predictable arc, and you're like, yeah, they sort of like they sort of understood that, a stranger in a strange land, do as the Romans do. The game didn't surprise me. The writing didn't thrill me. The gameplay pissed me off. There were parts of that game I enjoyed. I'm glad I played it. But
Hmm.
I'll say this. My favorite role-playing game is Dragon Age Origins. And today, before you and I spoke, I was trying to find out where I could source an Xbox 360 so that I could play Dragon Age Origins again. Dragon Age Origins, that team, they have made other Baldur's Gate games, Baldur's Gate 2, I believe. And so Dragon Age Origins is an unofficial Baldur's Gate sort of universe, not in the universe, but it's same writing team. And I was hoping that Baldur's Gate 3 was going to be as good as Dragon Age Origins, but to me, Dragon Age Origins is still the best.
So
The
that's your
writing is
review.
so good in that game. It's like mature and it's like adult. I feel like Baldur's Gate 3 had like Marvel writing. It felt like it felt more like superhero writing than fantasy. It's
Mm,
so hard to get the tone of fantasy right. People can't really get it going. There were like
right.
silly little corny jokes, and I was like, there's like weird corny jokes that are like not, I don't know. It was just like a little bit too kind of corny, but not in the right way.
Mm, mm. Left a bad taste. Yeah. So you're saying just play Dragon's Age 2.
Dragon
Just
Age
do
Origins.
Dragon's 8. Wow. Say it again. That's That's a mouthful for whatever reason.
And the Dragon Age 4 trailer just came out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and let me tell you, that trailer does nothing for me. It pissed me off, and I probably will not be playing Dragon Age 4. There's 4 different games, but Origins is the only one that is good, in my opinion. The other
Okay.
games are so different.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, you weren't excited for the Silent Hill trailer either. That didn't do.
That looks bad.
That's another story. Yeah. You said it was horny, the first game, and you didn't
The
see
first
any
game is like
sex?
darkly sexual,
It was-
darkly sexual, but not in a pleasing way and in a scary way.
And this, yeah. Okay. And you got none of that from the new trailer, the new
No, the
game.
new one just looks like the graphics are good and it looks like a very action-oriented game, and they like redesigned a lot of the characters and the redesigns look weird. I don't know, it's just like I wish they weren't remaking Silent Hill 2. I wish that someone was making a new game. This kind of goes into sort of like where we're at with culture right now. I
Hmm.
feel like everyone is so money focused. It's like everything has to make a lot of money. There's no room for risk. There's no room for art. Somebody make a new game, please.
Yeah, no. There's you're on a thread. You got a thread right here. Well, I know we're at the end. When can people how should people engage with you? Like what do you want people subscribing on YouTube, following on Instagram? What are your handles, and when's the next show coming out? When is
If
season
you're in
2?
if you're in LA, come to my open mic. It's at the Elysian Theater at 7:30 p.m. on Mondays in the Skunk Room. This is a lot of information. Go to my Instagram. A lot of my information will be there. Come to my monthly show, Haters Club, at the Lyric Hyperion. I host that with David Brown and Danny Catlow. Danny Catlow, my boyfriend and also talented performer. David Brown, my friend. He was on jury duty. I can't say that enough. I'll tell everyone. I'll shout it from the rooftops. My friend David Brown was on TV. I'm trying to sell tickets here. Me and Danny are funny, but you know David from TV. I swear to God, the show will be funny. This is the LA hustle. You gotta convince people that it's gonna be a good show. I swear to God.
That's
My life is shit.
yeah.
All I
Yeah.
do is make sure the show is funny. I'm a big loser. That means the show's gonna be good.
Like if there's one thing you'll take away from me, the show will be good.
The show will be good. It's the only thing I care about. Please come. And then just follow me on Instagram. I'm on there all the time, sharing things, sharing away.
Okay. Kate's opinion. Well, Kate, thanks so much for meeting with me. I'll hopefully see you in LA sometime. I'm not sure when I'll be there next, but
Hey, let me know.
Kate O'Connor, thanks for joining me on Life Support. This is Radio Free Brooklyn.
Thanks for having me.